Another aspect of this, lawsuits. They're already being filed. And joining me now to examine the aftermath of this disaster from the liability standpoint is injury attorney Rob Crain. Rob, thank you for being here. You told us this collapse, it should spark some questions out there. And I lived, in southern Florida for a long time. You pay extra, top dollar to be on the beach. But in some of these areas where it seems like the land is maybe shifting or sinking, the question is, should these constructions stop?
Well, it's a great question, and it's something that's been studied by professors, and the one in particular at Duke University. And when you're building on these islands that are island barriers, these are barrier islands to protect the mainland, you've got shifting sands just by the very nature of these islands. And so the question needs to be raised, is this the best place for us to be building these high-rise structures? Do we have the engineering capabilities to construct these types of heavy, tall buildings on this type of foundation? And as you noted,
what's the conclusion of the professor?
He strongly suggests that a ban on these buildings is something that should be considered.
The first class action lawsuit has already been filed. Many more could be coming. How liable are the building owners? They got this report back in 2018, yet they were just now reportedly getting moving on this. Is this damning for them?
It may very well be damning for them. There was a 2018 report that said needed to have some structural repairs done in a timely manner. Different language is being reported from different media outlets, but that language will be critical as to whether or not they should have been taking more immediate strides. What they were also in the middle of when this collapse happened was their 40-year recertification review. And one of the questions as an attorney I would have is, all right, you had this report in 2018, you had to have a recertification investigation in 2021. Did you wait to see what happened in this recertification exam in 2021 when you should have been repairing things? And so that's going to be a question of why didn't you act after the 2018 report? And here we are today.
That's a very flexible, nebulous term, in a timely manner. You're an injury attorney, so you're usually fighting the big guy on behalf of the little guy. But if you're fighting as an attorney for the big guy, you'd say, this was timely. We weren't certain. We needed to confirm.
Well, the language that we're seeing in different reports, some is stronger than just I was being a little conservative in my statement. Some of the statements I've seen has said that it needs to occur in short order. So that specific language will be at the crux of any complaints, of any lawsuits.
Could the town of Surfside be held liable? Like, are governments held to a different standard to allow private companies to do this?
So in America, whether it's our federal government, our state government, or our city governments, our governments start out with pretty much blanket immunity. And then each state sometimes provides exceptions to that immunity. And so there will be a lot of hard looks taken at the Florida case law as to whether or not there are actions or decisions that were made by the city which may meet one of those exceptions. Even if there is an exception, typically there is a cap on the amount of money that a governmental unit like a city can be held responsible for ultimately. So it's yet to be seen whether there is an exception to immunity that the city could be held liable for, and to what extent that cap is for the state of Florida. So there would be much less exposure on that classic civil front unless there was some type of federal civil rights type claim, which I'm not seeing happening here.
Injury attorney Rob Crain in Dallas, thank you so much.
You bet.